Hello and welcome again to Communication Connection. I'm Terry Likes. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we're going to take a look at an emphasis on the media, as our program often focuses on faculty and students and alumni involved with the Department of Communication. So joining us is Professor Chris Misun. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. You work primarily in media production, and of course many of the folks here at the TV Center know who you are because you used to work here. But before we delve into some of the things that are exciting and going on campus with the students and the various activities, tell us some about your background before you came to Mississippi State, your education, your work experience, and so forth.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. This is very exciting, and it's great to be back talking with you. So my background, I started in broadcast news, and I went to school at Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida. And after there, I went back and moved home to Ashland, Wisconsin, and we had a startup TV station, a very small crew. The building was not meant to be a TV station at all. And as you can see from the picture, we kind of did a makeshift news station. We would have to run, as you can see, the door kind of behind the camera there was where our control room was. Well, we had to take our newscast and pre-tape it and drive it to Duluth, Minnesota, which was 55 miles to the west. And I would have to run through the studio after the show was done being recorded and run it out to somebody in a car that would drive it to Minnesota. So that was a very unique introduction into news broadcast. Unfortunately, everybody from that station was let go after some creative differences between the ownership and our news director. But the great thing that came out of that was I was also the promotions producer, and I put together a series of PSAs that some 8th grade students had written, and I ended up winning an Emmy Award for that series of PSAs. And so it was a really great experience being 21 and getting a chance to, accept such a great award, and that really kind of helped catapult my career from there. We all got together and we went to Duluth, Minnesota, and restarted a station. So we started a Fox affiliate, KQDS, and that station is still up and running and doing fantastic at this point. And from there, I came down to Mississippi and worked at PV Electronics, was the head of the video department there. Then went into marketing and was a marketing and creative director for 6 years, getting a lot of great experience with photography and graphic design and putting together budgets. A really good experience of taking all the things that I've learned through different parts of my career and really applying that into one job. So video, graphics, all that stuff. And then I came to MSU in 2015. And was a senior producer in creative services at the television center here on campus. And it was just a fantastic experience where I got to do so many different things, putting together promotional videos for different departments, commercials on campus, and just a great way to network with people. And in that opportunity, I've also been able to work with Hail State Broadcast and got the experience on November 7th to actually run a camera for ESPN for a football game. And that was the first time that they've allowed the staff and students from Mississippi State to run the cameras and do most of the control room for a full broadcast football game. So that was really great for myself and the students that were involved and all the staff at Hail State.
Well, we're certainly glad to have you as a member. Now in your second year of the Department of Communication, you bring a whole new set of expertise for our students, and we appreciate that. We've always had a strong journalism emphasis, and now you're able to bring broadcast production and broadcast journalism into the fold for us and help us beef up those areas. So let's talk about some of the exciting things going on where you're able to utilize this experience that you just mentioned. One of them is something that is relatively new, and it's the film minor. And it kind of brings together a lot of different areas within the university and student interest, doesn't it?
Yeah, the film minor is a great way for us to utilize the art department, English, and utilizing the communication department and all the different skills that we bring to film, because film is such a big world, and there's a lot of different things that go into it. I mean, there's the business aspect, there's the writing aspect, production itself, editing, technical. There's so many different kinds of people that come into a film production. And so the great thing with our minor is that we're giving students kind of a beginning lead into that. So they're going to be doing things a lot with theory work, doing some cinema studies. So kind of figuring out where, film got its start and how we kind of get to where we are with that. But then using the art department and all the things that they do with studio lighting and working with composition with students, because that's so important to have strong composition in your films. I think you kind of see that as you see students kind of progress through, what they do in film is, their first couple of things as a student are a little bit rough, but as they get more training and they watch things, that really expands a lot more. And the communication department adds a lot with what our theater department does. And so my hope is over time that, we can add more into the actual production aspect of it from the experience that I've gained working with short films and just in video production in general, and kind of give the students the background that they need to be better prepared. So I ran a thing last year for the students where I talked about all the pre-production things that go into it. So preparing your script and how to break down that script and figure out all the different things that you need. And definitely it was something that students had never even thought about before, but I think it's going to help their productions over time as they get a little bit more organized and have that background.
Well, and taking a variety of courses in the different disciplines that you mentioned certainly help, and having some production background, and then bringing all this together in a student organization. Tell us about that. It's called The Scene.
Yeah, so we have a student organization called The Scene that is a student filmmaker organization. I think we're in about our third year now, and last year was kind of trying to get things off the ground and get discussing about films a little bit more. That's where I did my workshop on pre-production, and obviously the pandemic kind of made it more difficult for us to get together and be able to do things. But this group of students now have been really proactive and have actually put together a couple of short films themselves, and they are working on another one right now that I believe that they just shot some of the principal photography for. And that's really exciting that we have a group of students that are, really excited about this opportunity of making short films.
If you look around the country in this discipline, you'll see a variety of 48-hour and 72-hour film and video festivals or competitions. Is this something you foresee our students being able to enter?
Absolutely. Our students are really excited about the opportunity to work in a 48-hour or 72-hour film festival, and I've actually discussed with them recently about it, and when they see an opportunity like that, that is a green light for them to really push forward and start working on something. And a good bit of our students come from the theater department, and it's a great opportunity for them to do some different type of acting, because acting in theater and on film is quite a bit different. And so this is giving them that opportunity as well as some directing experience. And so it's a good mesh of bringing those students in. We have some business students that kind of get to be a part of it with marketing. And then we have our communication students that get that technical knowledge that they learn in my courses like advanced TV production, where we teach them more about the camera and how it works and how to put together a pretty picture.
You mentioned your courses, and we have advanced production and an introductory type of television production course, but you've created a new one in creative services production, which is kind of filling a niche for our department and for our students who have an interest outside of the journalism field.
Yes, I've noticed as I've been teaching advanced TV. So at my time at the TV Center, I was also a lecturer teaching one section of advanced TV during that time each semester. And I started to notice that the students, would sometimes lean more towards doing creative work. So we'd always have a commercial production project in advanced TV. And I noticed that students would really look forward to that, or at least a good group of students. And so I wanted to make sure that we're sending students out that have the journalism background, but are also gaining experience into making themselves more diverse in what they can do for production. And so we have a great opportunity in this class to put together commercials. We do some writing, and then they'll also get to produce a music video, which a lot of them look forward to because, they have friends in college that are producing music, and this is a great opportunity for them to get behind the camera and kind of help out some of their classmates as well.
Well, you mentioned diversifying the student portfolio, and of course we've asked you this year to diversify your own portfolio because of a faculty departure. You're taking over, or have taken over, the student television newscast called Take 30, which is now an all-Friday production. Tell us about that process.
It is a process. It is definitely a process that we have been adapting to. I think the students have grown more of an appreciation for an all-day class as they compared to what they did in the beginning of the semester. I think when we met for the first day and they looked at their schedule and realized that this was going to be 8 hours every Friday, they kind of groaned a little bit and was like, that's so long, I don't really need to be here. And as we got to the end of the semester, the students were telling me that they actually didn't have enough time, that 8 hours wasn't enough, and we would actually work on things throughout the week, but still in an 8-hour day, with all the writing that you need to do and still going to get video and putting together the actual show itself on the same day is quite the undertaking. And I think it's a great experience now for the students to be able to have that real world experience of what a day in the newsroom is like. And I think they've got a greater appreciation for it because of that.
Well, and you mentioned the different types of experience. And then our final question here, Chris, as we bring the program to a close, it's important in the communication discipline as well as the media for students to have these multimedia types of skills that you allude to.
Yeah, it's very important, especially I've learned that in my experience. When I was the marketing director, it was a very small company. And for me to be able to come in and say that I can take care of their photography needs, their graphic design, their video needs, all of that made me just much more of a viable candidate for them. And I want the students to be able to have that same opportunity because there's so many different startups that are happening nowadays that don't have a bunch of money or don't have the opportunity to hire a huge crew for a creative department. And so if we have students that can come in and say that I've had experience doing this before, I've done writing, I've done photography, graphic design, and video, those are really key for a business to be looking for. And we want to give our students as many tools as they can to be successful.
And of course, we hope many of those students will have quality work where we can enter them in a variety of competitions too. So stay tuned on news concerning that. Chris, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here on Communication Connection, and congratulations to all the exciting things you have going on within the department. Thank you so much for watching this edition of Communication Connection. I'm Terry Likes. We hope to see you again here next time on Communication Connection.